Wanting what you can't have. Well, today I'm going to take some stories that I found online from a guy, well, actually, it's a girl who met a guy on Tinder, and she's seen that the effort that he's putting in is not there, even though he is essentially putting himself in her orbit, so to speak, and he's always kind of popping up in her life but not making the effort. So this video is very important if you're with somebody and you feel like the effort is not there, because in a relationship, no matter if you're starting to date or if you've been dating or even if you're married, the effort has to match, like we've talked in our live stream, the energy and the effort has to be, one to one. It has to be identical or at least very similar. Because if one person is trying more than you are, then it obviously shows you through their actions, which is the only thing that matters, that they really just don't care. And the reason for this, there could be a few reasons. I mean, you could have said something. We talk about being needy. You may have come across as a little needy. You may have spilled a lot of emotional interest in them and essentially scared them off. Or they just may have found somebody else, or they may be talking to somebody else in the background and they're just not interested. So let's go into this story, and I'll put the link to the story, and it's especially relevant nowadays. So this girl it looks like she met a guy. She says, I started dating a man, let's call him Tyler, a few months ago. We met on Tinder. After our first date, we added each other on Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram. After our second date, he stopped answering my text. I soon gathered it was over. So obviously, for whatever reason, after this first date, in this example, this guy who she calls Tyler is no longer interested. But like many of us do, especially nowadays, we exchange a lot of information. So we exchange our social media platform, our names on social media, and these people, well, I'll just continue reading and you'll see. She said, I soon gathered it was over, but in the ensuing days, I noticed he was watching every single one of my Instagram and Snapchat stories, and was often one of the first people to do so. So you kind of have to think about that. So maybe there was some interest on his part, but he's talking to somebody else who he has more interest in, and he's trying to see if she's still around, or if she's going on dates, or if she's posting stories and pictures with other guys. So it's, in a way, he's essentially keeping tabs on her and trying to see if she's still interested. And then she says, a couple of weeks later, after still no correspondence, and that's very important, if a guy likes you, if a girl likes you, okay, they will reach out to you 100%. It doesn't matter if maybe they texted you on a Saturday and now it's Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, and you're wondering, is this person going to text me? It's been 3 or 4 days. Now, you need to understand, if they're interested in you, it doesn't matter what they have going on in their personal lives. I mean, I've dated women who are very successful, or maybe they have children, and with those types of people, they're going to have very busy schedules. But everybody has 2 seconds to send a text message. There's no excuse, really. I mean, if somebody's interested, they're going to get back to you. So she continues, a couple of weeks later, still no correspondence. I decided to unfollow and unfriend Tyler from all 3 social medias. So she's basically saying, well, I'm going to remove the privilege, or I'm going to remove myself from your life, which is important, because if you are stuck on somebody, you don't really, it's not very valuable to have constant reminders of that person if they're not putting in the effort. But, at the same time, she's letting it get to her. So, I think the proper thing would be just to not remove him, because it's not like he's setting dates and then bailing on her or ghosting her, if you will. He's simply viewing her Snapchat stories. But she says on Facebook and Snapchat, that meant we no longer could see each other's content. But on Instagram, no such luck. So I guess she kept him on Instagram. So she says, it's now been over 2 months since we've spoken. So clearly he has little or no interest in actually maybe taking it past a friendship kind of vibe. Because if you're friends, I mean, I'm sure you have friends on social media, you're interested in their lives, but it's nothing more than that. I mean, you might have friends of the opposite sex and it's simply that you want to see what they're doing. You're clicking through stories and that's all it is. So she says, Tyler not only still follows me on Instagram, he looks at every single one of my stories. This is not ghosting, this is orbiting. So the whole point is you want someone who's willing to put in the same amount of effort. So the only thing that matters is if they're willing to spend their time with you, because their time is the most valuable thing that they can give you. Like I said, everybody has a few seconds to give you a call or a few seconds to send a text message and ask, I'd love to see you again. When are you free? That exchange, that messaging, hey, I'm free on Wednesday or Thursday. Great. How about 7 o'clock at Joe's Diner, 123 Street? I'll pick you up at 6. Sounds good. Great. Looking forward to it. When you have people who are doing this and following you on social media, or maybe you simply have their phone number and they're not giving you what you want, and you've asked maybe on 2 separate occasions, they're essentially just stringing you along. So they're essentially orbiting. Some people have different, maybe you messed up in the past. That could be it as well. So the whole point is they have to show interest in you. So what you want to do is, if they are showing interest, if they say, yeah, let's meet up once a week. Let's say you've talked to a girl and you used to hang out twice a week all the time, a lot of text messages. That's only going to stop, the momentum's only going to stop if you've said something that comes across as needy or you're overexpressing your feelings. We've talked about this in other videos. So at that point, you need to hang back and to have an expectation of hanging out once a week. And you don't want to mention going on a date more than that. So you don't want to ask and ask and ask. Ask once a week, because every other conversation, you want to keep it light and friendly, but somewhat flirtatious. You don't want to slip in a friend zone. You want them to understand, you want to build some rapport with this person. They want to be able to trust you again. So it's all about finding someone who matches your effort and energy. Don't go around chasing people. You don't need to do that. There are billions of people on this earth, and half of them are female, half of them are male, approximately, and you have a variety, you have an abundance of options. You're going to find somebody who treats you the way you deserve to be treated, someone who impresses you, who's educated and beautiful, and all of those things. So don't go chasing people. You're too valuable to do that. So again, this is Matt from How to Be Exceptional. If you've found value in this video, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I look forward to talking to you.